Hi guys, we're continuing with Paris 4 days. So it gives you a 4-day plan here for morning and afternoon. So say we were gonna go to Paris and travel. They want us to finish in 4 whole days. Let's see. First day morning. So maybe we'll go through the map first so we can be a little bit more familiar with what we're reading. Let me get my pointy thing. Okay. Paris is very metropolitan. It seems like there's a lot of streets and names of stuff here. So we may, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Let's see. So, and it's all in French, obviously. So, maybe we'll just, there's a lot of, like, roads going all around. Metropolitan stations, the correspondences, lines in construction, etc. Okay, so this is showing different parts. Maybe this is just the metro station. Let's see. Trying to figure it out what this is showing. It's not in English, so it's a little bit hard to tell what it is. Yeah, I think these are the metro lines that it's showing us. So I guess they want us to take the metro all around in 4 days in order to see all the parts. Okay, well, it says first day, the Palais de Chaillot. Sorry if I'm not understandable, but I'm gonna do the best I can with these pronunciations. The Eiffel Tower, the Champ de Mars, the École Militaire, the UNESCO Palace, Les Invalides, the Army Museum. So that's the first half of the day, and then in the second half of the first day, the Palais Bourbon, the Place Vendôme, the Opera House, the Madeleine Church, the Flower Market de la Madeleine. Okay, then the second day, Place de l'Étoile, l'Arc de Triomphe, the Champs-Élysées, the Grand Palace, the Petit Palace, Place de la Concorde, the Tuileries, the Louvre. Then in the second half of the day, Saint-Germain-les-Auxerrois, the Royal palace, I guess. The Theatre Français, Pyramides Square, Église Saint Roch, R-O-C-H, I guess Roch, Saint Roch, or Saint Roch, I don't know. Sacré-Cœur, Montmartre. And then in the third day, first half, Place de Châtelet, the Saint Jacques Tower, the Hotel de Ville, the Isle Saint Louis, or Ile Saint Louis, Notre Dame, the Palais de Justice, the Conciergerie, the Saint Chapel. I guess that's the same thing. It's with a dash. And Place Saint Michel. Okay, then the second half, the Institute and the Mint District, Saint Germain des Prés, Saint Sulpice, or Sulpice, the Luxembourg, the Panthéon, Bastille, Place des Bosquets, the Marais District. Okay. Then in the fourth day morning, it says airports or Boutesse-Chamont. The Boutesse-Chamont, the Place de la République, the Grand Boulevard, Saint-Augustin. And B, Paris airports, Roissy and Orly. And the second part, option is Versailles or Fontainebleau. So, let me see. I think maybe we'll come back to the map, because I don't really understand it until we go through it. So first half. So it's four days. So we have a first half and a second half. We'll say first, like we'll do 1A, 1B, and then second day, etc. So first half of the day and then second half of the day. A and B. Okay? Starting from the Place du Trocadero, Metro Station Trocadero. Okay? I'm trying to avoid the glare as much as I can, but it's a little bit difficult. The Palais de Chaillot. The Trocadero Hill is crowned by the Palais de Chaillot. This is a typical example of the type of building put in the period between the two world wars, finished in 1937. Its severe lines are accentuated by plain building material and by tall vertical windows. The central terrace, from which you can enjoy a very fine view of Paris, is the roof of the largest theater in the capital, the Théâtre National Populaire. And then it is possible to buy very cheap seats here so that almost anyone can afford to go to performances. So it says it has the largest theater in the capital, the Theatre Nacional Popular. Palais de Chaillot. Okay, this is a map here. Not sure what it's showing. A bunch of streets. I'm not going to the maps because unless we understand what we're reading, just reading, I don't know. Okay. The Eiffel Tower seen from the Palais de Chaillot, shown here. The two long wings house the Ethnography Museum, the Marine Museum, and the noteworthy Museum of French Monuments, cast of sculptures and medieval frescoes. So it's inside the Palais de Chaillot. Going down from the terrace towards the Seine, a lovely stretch of water, one reaches the Eiffel Tower. Says Maison de Radio France is shown here. I guess it's where Radio France is located. Then we have the Eiffel Tower. This is a circular building over here. The Eiffel Tower. You can't imagine Paris without the Eiffel Tower. It took Eiffel 2 years to build this masterpiece. The steel construction defied all traditional rules in architecture. It is now the television transmitter for the Greater Paris region. The tower has 3 floors, the first at 57 meters, the second at 115 meters, and the third at 276 meters is somewhere I don't want to be. So that's 1, 2, and 3, I believe. The top of the aerial is 320 meters, so the topmost point above the ground. On a fine day, the view from the top platform is okay, I don't know. There's another thing right here. I don't know if that's another floor or I'm not sure. The view from the top platform is over the whole of Paris and even the more distant suburbs. The wind passes easily through the open work structure, and its action is reduced by the hydraulic stations into which the feet are firmly fixed. The 12.0 steel girders, that there's 12, I guess. Is it 12 or 12,000? I don't know. Are held together. Yeah, I think it's 12,000. The point is a comma, I think. So there's 12,000 steel girders are held together by 2,500,000 rivets to produce a smooth curving profile. Its functional elegance heralded the dawn of industrial art and has met with much sarcastic comment from more conservative observers ever since it was finished in 1889. Wow, back then they had the technology to make this kind of tower. That's pretty amazing. The Trocadero Gardens is also shown here below. I guess this part right here. They have like fountains coming up. Then they have the Champ de Mars. This large green rectangle laid out by formage between, that's a name, I guess, between 1908 and 1928 extends from the Eiffel Tower as far as the military academy behind it. I guess all the way back is probably all the way back there. These buildings, maybe those are the academy. And by the tower, it is landscaped with pleasant walks among rocks, waterfalls, and lakes with overhanging banks. Nearer to the military academy, it changes to the more formal French park with the geometrical pattern of wide avenues. It was here in 1790 that July 14th, or Bastille Day, was first celebrated. Another angle, celebrated by 14,000 representatives from all areas of France, in the presence of Louis the 16th. I guess in 1790 was Bastille Day. Then the military academy, l'École Militaire. The view up the Champ de Mars is closed at the end by this building. It was built, so Champ de Mars is the park which is all running down through the bottom or base of the Eiffel Tower. So you can see it. And this is at night with the fountains lit up. Looks quite nice. See how tiny the cars look underneath the tower? These are not bushes, they're actually trees, so. It says the view of Champ, so the view is closed at the end by the building. I guess it's this one. It was built by one of the best architects of the 18th century. The Champ de Mars, the École Militaire. Military building. Let's see. So then the builder or architect, his name is Jacques Gabriel. In 1751, it was built and ended building in 1773. So 22 years it took. And at the end of the reign of Louis V, he avoided the risk of monotony, like repetitiveness in the long facade, by adding a central four-part preceded by a portico. But the true facade facing the court of honor looks towards Place de Fontenoy. There were already signs of the severe geometrical lines, which dominated the Louis XVI and the Empire styles. Two small porticos of twin Doric columns frame the facade, and the three pavilions are connected by a double colonnade which recalls both that of the Louvre and that which Gabriel built at the same time, Place de la Concorde. In front, to the right, stands the Palais de UNESCO. So this is the École Militaire, built in the 18th century, or 1751 to the 1773, and then so the UNESCO building. The headquarters of the United Nations Educational, Cultural, and Scientific Organization, which is, I guess they shorten it to UNESCO, was built between 1955 and 1958. It is built in the shape of a Y, with curved frontages and exterior decoration by Calder and Miro. Because it is such a small area, some of the buildings had to be put underground. The beautiful concrete assembly hall by Nervi is to be found here, as is the four-floored subterranean building in 1965, which opens onto a lovely patio by Zerfus. Follow the Avenue de Lowenthal towards Les Invalides. Saint Louis des Invalides Church. The massive base with strong columns standing out from the walls in the interior Italian fashion serves as a plinth for the magnificent dome 1677 to 1690 by Jules Hardouin Mansart, one of the architects of Versailles. Two superimposed drums, a cupola somewhat stretched out towards the top, a lantern and a spire which project towards the sky confer on this great dome, which is 101 meters high, an incomparable lightness and elegance from every point of view. The great church contains in the coldly majestic crypt the red finished granite sarcophagus presented by Tsar Nicholas I, in which lie the remains of Napoleon I. Placed here in 1840, it fulfills the Emperor's last wish, which says that I wish my remains to rest on the banks of the Seine among the French people I have loved so well. Le Hôtel des Invalides. Immediately behind the church is the home built by Louis XIV for invalid soldiers. built around a great quadrangle whose very simple interior recalls the Escorial. It now houses a few old soldiers, some army officers, and the Museum of Military History, the principal military museum in the world for its fine collections of armor, flags, uniforms, equipment, and tin soldiers. It is of the great interest to lovers of weaponry and military history. This is near the Palais de l'UNESCO, I guess. A bunch of flags there. Okay. On leaving the building, walk through. This is showing the St. Louis des Invalides Church. It says on leaving, walk through the forecourt, decorated with cannon of the Ancien Regime, to the Place des Invalides. Turn around and take a good look at the frontage by Bruand. This is beautiful stuff, though. It is 195 meters in length with 200 windows, which decrease in size towards the roof. The monotony of the long frontage is broken by the central doorway, whose surround has been designed to reach the very top of the roof. The two gigantic statues of Mars and Minerva stand at either side of this door. They were carved in stone by Guillaume Cousteau and Cartelier and represent valor and wisdom. I guess Mars is symbolic, or the god of valor, and Minerva is the god of wisdom. So, the Invalides is shown the church, and this is from outside. The vast open esplanade, laid out between 1704 and 1720, 400 meters by 250 meters are the dimensions. So 490 by 250 allows a fine view of the facade, which faithfully follows the lines of the church dome, thus proving the affinity of style between the two architects. The ministry's district stretches out towards the east. In the area, state departments and embassies are found in former town houses built during the 18th century, when the Marais district went out of fashion. Thus, the state has safeguarded some very fine examples of French architecture. In particular, note the Rodin Museum. This is a light. The Rodin Museum. To the left of the Invalides, at the corner of the Rue de Varenne and the Boulevard des Invalides, is the Hotel Biron. Okay, this is the Alexander III Bridge, built in 1900. Very pretty. It's just a lot of beautiful things here. So then, the Boulevard des Invalides has the Hotel Biron, a good example of a Regency-style residence. And this is showing the Hotel des Invalides, the Église Hotel 1706 is the build date. So the Hotel Biron is a good example of a Regency-style residence. So 1728 to 1731. By Gabriel and Albert, with a very pleasant landscape garden. The hotel now houses beautiful sculptures by Rodin. A series of townhouses run the whole length of the Rue de Varenne. At the corner of the Rue Barbet de Jouy, the Hotel Chaussee, now a postal museum, is a good illustration of the restrained classical style. Restrained. Hotel Chaussee. The number 56, the Hotel Gouffier de Tours, is a fine example of Louis XV Rococo style, with its spiral tympanum and its frontage in a courtyard. This is the dome. Frontage, let me see, in a courtyard. This is showing the Emperor grave. There's statues around, 5 of them shown here. And this is showing Hotel des Invalides in the night. On the other side of the road, the Hotel Matignon, the Prime Minister's residence, is the work of Jean Corton, 1721 built. So Hotel Matignon is the Prime Minister's residence. The curved frontage is the Cour d'Honneur, or in the Cour d'Honneur, is of a simple design, a small central projection, railings, balcony adorned with trophies. At the far end of the garden, an elegant pavilion or pavilion reminds us by its style of the Follies, which were built in the second half of the 18th century. The Rue de Grenelle also has a fair number of monuments. At number 61, you can see the famous Fountain of the Four Seasons by Bouchardon, showing a striking contrast between the figures of the central group with the restrained design of the monument. Number 79, the Hotel de Estries. between the figures of the central group. So, number 79, the Hotel de Estris. Number 101, Hotel de Charolais. Houses the Ministry of Trade. At the corner of Boulevard des Invalides, the Hotel du Châtelet now houses the Ministry of Labor. Built 1770 to 71, the decoration inside is in the original Louis XVI style. This is the Army Vauban room. The Military Museum. This museum is situated in one of Paris's most beautiful old buildings, the Hotel des Invalides, built by Louis XIV, is a museum of art, technology, and history. The collections on view to the public are among the most comprehensive in the world. Here you will can trace the development of arms from prehistory to the present day. One can see exhibits ranging from prehistoric flints to the first metal weapons and an impressive display of armor. There are also rooms devoted to weapons and armor particular periods, the ancient regime, the Second Empire, and relics from both world wars. Alongside the small arms, firearms, uniforms, and flags, there are also various items which once belonged to famous people. The personal weapons and armor of Francis I and Louis XIV, and uniforms and numerous small objects which belonged to Napoleon. So some people here, monarchy, their statues, I guess, cuirassier in 1643, First Republic soldier 1793, 1914 to 1918, a foot soldier, and First Empire Imperial Guard 1804 to 1814. Wow, there's some kind of outfits you got going on. I like this one the best, actually. So then, that was the first section, okay? Let me see here. Okay. I think we're gonna pause, actually. So let's pause on this guy here. He's a foot soldier from 1914 to 1918. So we'll do the second part of the first day in the next part. Thank you, guys. My page is facebook.com yosallplay, YOSALLPLAY. And if anyone knows the number to this guy in the picture, so you can give me his number. Hook me up. Thank you, guys. Bye. LOL.